Hello lovely people, it's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdash sewing room. How are you? Hope you're having a good week, because what is it? It's only Wednesday today. I worked Monday and Tuesday and I have the rest of the week off. I love it when the shifts land like that. So I am looking forward to a little bit of crafty time here today. I have a bunch of stuff out on my sewing table, and let's just say I have no idea what I'm doing. But I have old arty stuff I made. I've got felt in various greens. I've got my little 2-inch square scrap bag of fabric out. I've got the momigami attempt from the other day. You'll see that in the last vlog. I've got some glue. I've got some papers that I just found that I'd forgotten all about, which is scraps of paper from previous projects. I have some green tulle, and oh wow, I'd forgotten I got all this out. It's hiding behind the glue. I have some rather lovely yarn and a couple of little bits of fabric that were leaders when I was sewing on the sewing machine. I have gouache and I have some green acrylic to tint the gouache, I hope. And I have a sponge brush and a little, this is from a laundry detergent bottle, just to mix it up in, and a mixed media pad there. So I don't know what I'm doing. I hope I make something that's fun. The important thing is to have fun, right? It doesn't really matter about the end result. I can tell myself that. Also have some green pipe cleaners or chenille sticks, but I cut them in half because I was going to crochet some flowers and attach these to them one day, months ago, but I never did. Oh, and I'm overheating already. Oh, the joys of menopause. Okay. So in this vlog, I'm going to show you the update on the Fall Bluff sweater, because I did actually finish a sleeve. And I have picked up the stitches for the second sleeve, and I'm going to be working on that later today. It's a little hot for knitting, I have to say. I'm trying to keep the bulk of the work off to the side while I'm knitting on it, but last night I had picked up the stitches around the second sleeve and my hands just got so sweaty that I had to put the work down and have a shower. Fun times. I was just uploading all my clips to my laptop to get them edited, and I realised I hadn't shown you the sweater. So there we are. Body is done. One sleeve is done. Instead of doing it straight and then doing all the decreasing here like the pattern, I did the decreases every 11 rounds down the sleeve. So I only needed to do 8 decreases around here. So I think the cuff works out well there. And I've picked the stitches up on this sleeve here. And that's ready to get knitting. That shouldn't take long, as I actually remember to pick it up and it's not too hot and sweaty. Summer's not my favourite season. In fact, I probably would have to say it's my least favourite season. So in addition to the knitting, I'm going to do this collage, and I'll turn the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. I probably won't talk through it, so that I can just show you what I'm doing and speed it up a bit. If I talk through it, then I have to be careful to edit out the blah, 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 and I'm talking at 10 times speed, which is just another level of awkwardness. The other thing I wanted to do, okay, I'm at the stage in my hair growing phase and my hair color phase where I'm getting fed up with the color again. I don't really want to keep bleaching and coloring my hair ad infinitum, because I know there's nasty chemicals in it. Even if it's the cruelty-free kind, there's still chemicals in it. You know, not ideal. So I think I might be just leaving it to go au naturel. And I'm wondering about whether to grow it out. The growing out phase is just such an awkward phase, isn't it? You know it's going to look terrible for a while until it gets to the point where it's you can make a style out of it instead of it just looking like a mop. And so with that thought in mind, I thought I'm going to find out whether I can wear or carry off some sort of head wrap. I did a messenger fabric on the brain always, Facebook Messenger video chat with my sister the other day. And she looked really cute because she had a floral headband on. And I was like, yeah, it looks nice. Maybe I could manage that. But what I saw on some Instagram reel in passing was this woman was just showing how she puts a head wrap on. And it was just a really long strip of fabric. And I think it was probably wider in the middle and the tails were narrower. And she just went from here and it went down, and then she brought it up, and then she sort of twisted it around on itself and down, and then it came up again and she just tucked the ends in. It was super easy and it looked really nice on her. And I've got some rayon knit fabric in the stash. I think it's turquoise that I had made a t-shirt out of a couple of years ago. And I hope I have some that I can lay out and have the full width of fabric, maybe fold it over, cut this shape, maybe not even finish off the edges because it's knit, it won't fray, and just practice with it and see if it looks terrible or not. Because you look back at pictures of yourself when you think you looked okay, and then you're like, wow, I had this sort of mop on the top here. And then anytime it starts to get a little long here, it starts to stick out and like rest on top of your ears. It looks kind of weird. And then I want to just buzz it again. So I think there's going to be a bit of sewing today, a bit of collage, a bit of knitting. And yeah, I'm experimenting with nail polish again. I don't know why I bother. I was at the supermarket and I thought, oh, I can buy some of this nail polish. It's from Quo, so it's cruelty free. And I also got some more nail polish remover because the last one I got was acetone free. And whilst that sounds great, it doesn't work worth a damn. You're using tons and tons of pads, cotton pads, and lots of scrubbing, and it just takes forever. So you end up using 10 times as much of it. Whereas this one, it comes off, like it takes the nail polish off in a second. So I got these little cotton pads and some nail polish remover, but all by Quo, and the nail polish in this sort of opaque pale pink. So I put some on what's today? Wednesday. I think I put some on Sunday evening. Yeah, I think that's right. I put some on my toenails and it looks great. It still looks great 3 days later. And I'm really pleased about having it on the toenails because my big toenails often get like darker patches underneath, like I've almost got a bruise under them, and they look terrible. So I thought I would just put that on rather than go and get like a $75 pedicure at the nail place. So that worked. And then I put some on my fingers and I thought, oh, okay, it looks all right. And then I thought, oh, but there's lots of little bubbles in it. And there's lots of little bit of roughness in it. And I made it really messy around the cuticles. So I didn't do any preparation on the cuticles at all. So I put up with it for a couple of days. And then yesterday at work, I was putting yarn away all afternoon. My shift was 1 to 6. And apart from my lunch break, I was putting yarn away. So I was ripping plastic bags open, really stressing out the nails. And there was a chip then. And I just thought, oh, I'm just going to redo them this morning. Of course, that takes a massive chunk out of your morning, doesn't it? I put Kate at the Last Homely House's Patreon July diary in. Hang on. No, is it the June diary or is it the July diary? Yeah, it's the July diary. Anyway, she has a really long video once a month to show what she's been doing behind the scenes for patrons. So I played that, took the nail polish off, which, as I say, worked great. And then I moisturized, and then I, pushed the cuticles back a little bit, got rid of any hangnails, and then I repainted them. And whilst it is neater, I did go and bash my nails on the side of the table. I was sitting outside on the deck, and I need to like touch that bit up. And I thought, okay, that looks good. And then a little bit later on, I'm like, wait a second, it looks all lumpy bumpy. So there's like lots of little speckles in, almost like there's lots of sand in it or something. So if you look really closely, it looks really bumpy and not smooth at all. So all I'm saying is, don't look too closely at my nails, and yeah, I don't think I'll be doing it very often on the hands, but it's just that my nails were all lovely and long, and I thought if I use nail polish on, it might strengthen them and keep them longer for longer, if you know what I mean. Oh, we're already digressing. One of the things I did do this week, which will probably give you a bit of a laugh, I had 3 bras, which were getting on a bit. They were just pull-on kind and not adjustable straps. So, of course, as they get older, they stretch out a bit. And, you know, you don't want your boobs to get lower and lower and lower. You're wearing a bra, they should be supported, right? So I thought, okay, rather than go out shopping for new bras, which is always a gamble, right? Because you've got to try them on because there's so many different styles, and you think you never know what size you are. I don't know about you, but I never know what size I am. So I thought, I'm just going to put them, get down to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to take a little bit out. So on one of them, I took about 2 inches out of the strap, actually. It was a Reebok one that was a sports bra, and it was quite long, so it covers a lot of rib cage. So I thought, okay, it's not going to be a problem if I hike up here. Well, duh. Guess what I managed to do? I managed to do the seam on the outside. So instead of the seam being tucked underneath, it's right here on the wrong side, on the right side of the fabric, the wrong side for doing the job. Never mind, I managed to flatten it out, and it looks all right. I shouldn't probably wear it with a wide neck top. So the other 2 I wear on a regular basis, I think they were just a jockey brand from Walmart. They just pull on. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to practice with one first because I didn't want to do both of them and then regret it. So I did one, and I was really happy with it. I didn't take so much out of this one because, yeah, you don't want to take so much length out of the strap and then find you falling out the bottom band, do you? Oh, God, you never knew I was going to be talking about this today, did you? So I think I took about 1 inch out of the thing, and then I managed to actually get the seam allowance on the correct side this time. And I'm really pleased with it. So I brought the other one down today so that I can do that. You won't be seeing that part because you don't need to see my old bra. But I'm just saying that when you get to a certain age, if you can hike your bra up even 1 inch, it takes 5 years off your life, off your age. So yeah, I feel 5 years younger now. All right, I am going to turn you down, and I'm probably going to have to have a drying phase because the gesso, I keep wanting to say gesso, the gesso will need to dry. So actually I do have one other thing to show you and talk about. So I'm just going to gesso this mixed media paper, and then I'll show you what I got from my friend this week. I did consider putting some nitrile gloves on just to protect the nails from getting messy, and then I thought, oh, whatever. Whatever. I'm just going to take this out of the book so I don't make a mess of the book. Oh yeah, I've got my brother's stamps here as well. Yeah, as I say, I have no idea what's going on with this, but yeah, just want to have a bit of fun. Now I'm wondering whether I should put something under this to protect it from the paint. Okay, I've just got some heavy craft paper that I've doubled and put underneath there. So this is very full. I've barely used any of it since I bought it. But I really, really need to play with it more often. I'm not sure how much I'll need. That's probably way too much, but oh well. So tinting it was something I saw in that Bichet collage book. Apparently it's important with collage to put a base down for whatever you're going to do, even if it isn't seen. Now hang on a minute, let's think about this. I think rather than using my brush to mix it, I'm going to mix it with this. Oh, look at that. That's making pretty swirls. Oh, that's lovely. I think that's good. This acrylic set is I don't know how long. I think I've had this since the kids were small, and it probably wasn't very expensive. It's a Reeves acrylic color set, and we've had this for years. So I don't think there's anything special about it, but I think it's going to do the job. We're all about the green today. Even this paintbrush is green for my stir stick. Yeah, it's streaky now. Actually, streaky might be fun. Maybe I don't care if it's smooth or not. Now the question is, where can I leave this where it's not going to make a big mess? I have just seen in here, perfect addition. Oh, look, something that I watercolor painted and rubber stamped a while back. This has some beautiful stuff. I'm going to keep that out for sure. Getting sidetracked here, but oh my gosh, that's pretty. All right. We are getting sidetracked. All right, let's make sure you're all centered here. Yes, I think you are. Ooh, lovely. While I'm doing this, let's chat about exercise. Oh, not my favorite topic. But a little while ago, I was saying how I wanted to get stronger, get my upper body stronger. And so I was bribing myself with the yarn to do some exercise. And I earned my first ball of yarn last week. I did my Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 minutes each time workout on my upper body. I'm starting out with small weights. I've had rotator cuff problems in the past where I had to go to physio, and I don't want to get to that point again. But I'm using small dumbbells and those rubber band type things, and doing a few careful push-ups on my knees, not on my toes. And I'm remembering to stretch at the end of each session. I'm going to put lots of this on because I want to get a bit of texture in it after. I think I'm going to do some texture with that paintbrush. So now that I managed to complete a whole week and do my Monday, Wednesday, Friday workouts, I'm owed a ball of yarn to myself. Oh, got a hair in there. I haven't bought the ball of yarn yet. Because green makes me think of leaves, I'm going to just put some leaf shapes in here. There's a good chance these will be all covered up at some point, but I don't care. The thing is, Michael's hasn't had a yarn sale in a really long time. And summer is a traditional time for them to have a sale because a lot of people don't really knit or crochet in the summer because it's so hot. And so they often put things on sale. And also, a lot of people might be buying yarn in the summer so they can get started on their crafting in the fall. So I'm holding out for a yarn sale in August. I'm going to have to let this dry now. I am holding out for a yarn sale, and I will give it probably till the middle of August. And if a sale doesn't come up, then I'll just start buying yarn anyway. I have a plan to make this new page shawl, which is a beautiful shawl that's a triangle, but I think you work it from the I think you work it from the point and you work up, and then the final row is over here, and then you put pom-poms down this side. So when you wear it, the pom-poms are down one of the diagonals, not the one up against your neck. And it's very lovely because of the colours that the designer chose. And so I was thinking of collecting yarn for that. So I would like to still stick with that plan, but Michael's has a rather interesting new yarn in by Lion Brand. I think it's called Re-spun. It's 100% polyester made from recycled plastic bottles, and it comes in about 17 lovely heathered colours, and they're big skeins. They're not just 100-gram balls. I think they might be maybe 140-gram skeins. Quite big, quite a lot of yardage on there. And I just want to buy it all up. One of the other staff, they were saying she's already bought 30 balls of it and already started making a blanket with it. And I was like, yeah, I can see why. So I'm just going to leave this to dry for a bit, and I'll show you what my friend gave me this week. Let's just leave it there. Actually, let's move it out the way because I want to show you this and tip out the bag. Let's see if I can do this without making a big mess. Okay, so yes, we're all clean and tidy here. Oh, let's just move that painty paper out of the way. So this lovely bag is full of embroidery floss. I think she said there may be 250 of them in there. How crazy is that? So the thing is, she got lots and lots and lots of embroidery floss from a woman who used to have a store. And she bought some drawers full from her a long time ago. And we were doing our stitching last week. I was stitching on my pink slow stitching project that I made that little buttoned pouch out of in that last vlog. And she's got hand stitching embroidery, applique and embroidery project on the go, which is absolutely gorgeous. She's doing it from a kit. And she said, would you like more embroidery floss? I have lots of duplicates. And I said, oh, that would be lovely, thank you. Well, I did not envision this many. So let's just have a quick look at the colours. We've got some, can you see that? How are we doing here? Yep, you can see that. Oh, and I'm pulling them all off the table onto my lap. So we've got lovely soft yellows. What make are they? Are they DMC or are they JP Coats? Oh, they're DMC, so they're the good stuff. And we've got oranges, soft oranges, and then peaches going into pinks. Oh, there's a variegated one. Lovely. And then some other ones. Oh, I'm seeing fall in all of those. And then beautiful blue. And then purples, pinks. Oh, that pink is gorgeous. And then we've got some greys and browns. More orange, more pinks. Aren't they lovely? They've got such a lovely sheen to them. So even though I have ordered some of that perlate cotton from AliExpress, I just know I'm going to be using these because the colours are irresistible. That makes you think of summer berries, doesn't it? blues, reds, more oranges. So many of them. So I was just blown away when I saw the bag, and she was like, yeah, you can have all of these. I was like, you serious? Oh yeah. So greens. I think I've mentioned her before. She has the most beautiful studio in her home. And I picked these up from her yesterday, and I went in there for the second time, and I was reminded how amazing her workspace is. It is packed to the gills with fabric, yarn, embroidery threads, all sorts of found items that she uses in her art. I was looking at a piece of artwork by her front door, and it had the two sides of an old metal grater in it. Her husband had bent the edges of the grater so they weren't sharp, and she'd obviously splashed it with paint, and she'd incorporated it in this massive piece of artwork. It was just incredible. Look at all these greens. I feel like I should embroider a moss wall or something now. Blues. I like that it's not all the colours that I would normally buy for myself, because you need neutrals, don't you? You do need neutrals, and there's a few browns and muddy greys and greens in there, and things that I probably wouldn't have bought for myself. But oh, they'll make for some beautiful projects one day. Absolutely love them. I feel like I want to give her something in return, but anything I give her will just pale to insignificance in comparison to her own art. So we have made a decision that we need to get together more often so that we can enjoy various crafts together, arts and crafts together. Because out of our group of friends, the two of us seem to be the ones that are most obsessive about it all. I think this is going to take a while to dry. So maybe what I'll do while it's drying, I might start cutting up bits and pieces to use in it. I took these bits off my wall because I'm bored with them, and that one in particular was starting to curl up and just look messy. But I have this one. This was just random watercolor. I just did stripes. I masked off the edges and just did random stripes of watercolor. And then I think I got something out of the garden that was maybe off a fir tree or a pine tree. And I used my rubber stamp pad and then just stamped that on there. But I feel quite happy to cut that up now. And the same with this one. This was just random blobs of watercolor, and then I did an outline around them. There's an Instagrammer called Andrea Nelson Art, and she does a lot of simple ways of getting into watercolor painting that are very, very achievable, I guess you could call it. And so I follow her, and yes, she definitely inspires me. I wish I had some better scissors than these old orange things for paper cutting, but I don't think I do. I think I might use my old fabric scissors. So I've got my pinking shears out in case I want to do a funny edge, and I've got my old fabric scissors out. Don't cringe. These are my old ones. I won't be using my good ones on paper. Actually, you know what? It would be better to tear it, wouldn't it? That's what I'm going to do. I want this pink, that's not pink, Nicola. I'm going to tear off and hope it will go fairly straight across. And take the green area off. I know I'm probably going to have to incorporate some other colours in my collage so that it's not all just one colour. But I'm going to start with the greens, and then that's not working so well. And then I will start adding extra if it needs it. got my name written on it. Let's tear a little bit more of that off. I don't need that on there. I think I probably should have my garbage can right next to the table because I'm going to make a lot of bits here. Okay, let's try and get this without losing too much of the green. Getting a bit of a white edge because the paper is splitting a bit. So that's all right. Yeah, I can probably use that. And then this one's a brighter green, but that might be okay. Oh, I'm really excited to find these. One of the things that Tori from Cool Kooky Creatures has been doing, she's been doing a series of things called ICAD, or is that right? Yes, Index Card a Day. And so she's been taking one of these each day. I don't know if they're the same size as mine, because these are quite large for index cards. But she's been doing a little collage each day. And I thought that's very achievable for anyone who doesn't have a lot of time or space and just wants to do something creative. You could just do something this tiny. So I'm going to have to keep those out where I can remember to use them again. All right, I don't think I'm going to need any of this, except possibly this because it's green. So I'll keep that out. I won't cut any of this tulle up yet because I'll see what I'm going to do with it. Oh, I know what I could do. Oh, I just had a great idea. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to put the cutting on hold. And I'm going to cut a piece of this same size as my page. Oh, sorry, I just knocked you. I just knocked you. Where's an edge? I didn't measure this. I am just going to stick it on while the gesso, while the gesso is still wet. I am going to put this on here. And you know what? I probably should get some gloves because I want to squish it in and kind of scrunch it up. Okay, hold that thought. So I dashed to the utility room there to grab myself some of Mr. Stitch's nitrile gloves, which I'm struggling to get back on because I had to take the thumb out to unpause the camera. And I remembered I had put that sun-dyed fabric, or one piece of that sun-dyed fabric, in the washing machine earlier. And so I took it out and hung it on the line, and the colours have really blended. The majority, there was so much red, I think, in there that it, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically diffused and just decided to spread. But actually I prefer it that way. Before, oh, has this already stuck down? Before, the sections of colour were quite separate, and now it's all looking lovely and cohesive. So what I've done is I've also put my paler green with the orange brush strokes fabric in there. I'm just doing it on a speed wash, 15 minutes, cold water. And I think that one may come out a little more similar because there was a lot less dye in it. Is this a bad idea? I'm not sure if I should be adding paint to the top of it. Oh, never mind. We'll see. trying to stick it down. As you can see, those leaf shapes that I made in the gesso earlier are completely covered up now. You can't see them. Yeah, I asked my friend yesterday, I said, so when you do a piece of art, do you have an idea of what it's going to be when you start, or do you just start and let it grow from there? And she said, I just start. So she obviously doesn't really have a plan. I mean, she might have a loose plan. She's been doing a lot of bears lately. But some of her work is much more abstract. And I think that, yeah, she just starts laying things down, adding stitching, adding paint, those Inktense paints if it's fabric. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to take these off again so that I can touch the other stuff. I think that's probably all of the gesso stuff I'm going to do. Because once these gloves are off, they're not going back on again. You know, I am impatient, I admit it, and I think I'm just going to have to start putting things down soon. Nope. Before I do that, I was going to look through the fabric scraps just to see if I've got anything suitable in here. And of course, now I'm thinking, well, these are all very precisely cut scraps and they probably won't work. But because, you know, like I might prefer to have torn fabric with a nice rough edge. But hey, you know, let's pick some out anyway. Okay, I have one of these little thread bunnies, as somebody calls them, and I have some paper, I have some fabric, I have these pieces from my Momigami experiment. Actually, these are mostly dark and orange and blue, so maybe we'll abandon that. This has got some lovely greens in it. So I wonder. And then this has got, look how similar colours there are in that. Beautiful. Right. I think I need to start sticking stuff down. I'm kind of reluctant to tear this, but I think I'm going to. Let's try it this way. Because I'm a heathen and I have no really other options, the only option I have as far as sticking stuff down is school glue and a glue stick. So we're using school glue today, and if that's not the right glue to use, I do apologize. Not going to slather too much on because I want this to stay wrinkled. Oh, and I got gesso on the front. Hopefully that will dry, or I can cover it up with something, can't I? Make sure I've got my bottom edge showing here. Oh yes, good. There's a little hole there which you can see the tool through, which is kind of fun. Do I want any more of this on here? I wonder if I can tear a strip that isn't too messy. What am I saying? Messy is good, right? I think this is too perfect. I don't think I need 2 of these bits, but 1 would be nice. We're doing a fairy garden. This would be so much fun to do with kids, wouldn't it? School holidays. Yeah. No sign of grandkids on my horizon, but maybe I should borrow somebody else's kid and play collage with them. Do I want fabric? Do I want yarn? I think I do want yarn because the colours in this are so lovely. Ooh, hopefully all this stuff dries clear. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I have this bit which has got yellow in it. And I liked the yellow, but now I'm thinking it may not fit in there. This is cool. This is looking pretty random. I think probably people who have been doing this longer than I have more of a plan, and they're better at laying things out so that they balance and make a cohesive whole. I'm just wondering whether I should try filling in some of the gaps with something. definitely a fairy forest. Now, some of the little shredded bits from the first momigami I did are really small. So just to introduce a bit of different colour and just to use them up, I think I'm just going to add some in random places. Just add a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to add some extra colour, not be too monochromatic. I like this colour, it's natural, makes me think of bark. So we've got something here that kind of looks like maybe a mushroom cap. We've got this that looks like moss or wildflowers. And then maybe a little green stream of some kind. And then some more bark or something like that. Right, I'm going to look at it through the phone camera and see if it looks any different, any better. No, it doesn't look any better. Just looks crazy. Okay, that was fun. Yeah, we're going to leave. This is a rayon knit, rayon jersey. Quite thin, very stretchy. Have about 2 meters of it, I think. I bought quite a bit of it. I'm not sure why I got so much of it. I must have had a plan for t-shirts or something, but I only ever made the one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just eyeball a long strip. I might, let me think about this. No, I won't cut a strip and then narrow it. That would waste fabric. So what I will do, this isn't quite matched up at the edges, so I think I'm going to do, how about I do it from this side and actually try and match my edges up as best as possible. I don't want to be throwing little strips of it away if I can avoid that. Sorry, I keep knocking the overhead thingy. Okay, so we got a wrinkle. Hold on a minute. This is going to be a winging it experiment. I'm going to start cutting at the selvage, and I'll start fairly narrow and then I'll just widen it out at that end. How wide would I want it? Maybe 4 inches at the widest point, perhaps? Oh, let's just do it. Let's just dive in. So I'm going to start maybe a couple of inches and then just widen it out. Because when this goes on my head, this head wrap idea, I want the widest part to be right above my forehead. And then I want it to taper for the wraps. And I was doing what I usually do, which is lying in bed when I should be going to sleep, trying to think how long I would need to cut this. I may not have actually made that wide enough, but... And I thought I'll just cut it the full width of the fabric, which is probably 60 inches or 1.5 meters. And that way, if I need to trim it shorter, I can. Wow, that is really messy. Okay, let's just try and smooth that out a little bit there. Because, yeah, there's slapdash and there's slapdash. Oh, yeah, they have made that far too narrow because it's very thin. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around now and you can have a laugh at me trying to wrap it around my head. Yeah, every time I get to a certain point with my hair, I'm not sure about this. Every time I get to a certain point with my hair, I decide that, no, I've got to cut it off again. So what this woman did was she put the widest part right here. She had some hair that was long enough to show here. So I might try it the other way. She crossed it behind. She brought it up and then she just twisted it round itself like that. And then she went back down this way, crossed it over again. Yeah, she must have used the whole width of the fabric like I'm doing. And then she just tucked it in. But I'm going to have to go by feel here. So the question is this a style I feel I could wear? I don't know. I suppose if it was the right colour. I like turquoise. Turquoise is a good colour on me because it. I have a lot of red in my face. Every now and again I have to use rosacea stuff on it for the pimples and the redness. And yeah. So blue tones it down, whereas if I wear like this bright pink t-shirt, it really isn't ideal on me because it just makes everything look redder. Okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and position it further back on my head and actually maybe have some hair showing, but my hair is not that long, so that might not work. Yeah, the colour's really faded out. I put the purple or the pink on top of the turquoise, and of course, as always, the pink faded out super fast, and it left the turquoise visible. I've often wondered what it would be like. I think it would be fun to have a 40s wardrobe. I think 1940s dresses and maybe 1940s land army girl outfits would be really fun. Well, I prefer it without the hair sticking out the front. And I think you've got to cover up the tops of your ears a bit, otherwise they stick out a lot. I don't know. It would take a lot for me to get used to be wearing some sort of headband or hairband, I think. It's all a case of knowing how to carry it off, isn't it? We're just going to have a little interlude here. This is the fabric I sun-dyed last week. Can you see the pattern that was originally in the damask? It's like berries and lines. So this one was originally very red here, orange on that side, and then green up in that corner. And woo, the wind's catching it. And I can't see my phone screen because it's so bright out here. So it's beautiful, but much, much lighter than it was. But I think I like it better because the colours have blended so nicely. But yeah, we really didn't have any success with the actual leaves. But I love it all the same. I'm sure I can find something to make with that. And then the other piece is this one. Hope you can see that because I can't see it through the phone. It was quite light to start with. It was green and yellow with brush strokes of orange, and the orange brush strokes are really, really faded out, but actually I think I prefer it as well now that it's blended and faded in the wash. I just gave it a 15-minute cold speed wash in the machine with a little bit of detergent. Beautiful. One last thing I want to do for this vlog. I didn't realize it was going to be making the vlog all in one session, but I got so excited that I guess I filmed a lot. I have some of these dollar store notebooks. I got them last year for $1.75 each, and I made these pen holders. I'll show you it while I'm here. So for the market last year, I used, I think, the tutorial was from Christine's Home Affairs, and this is obviously a Christmassy themed one. This is one of the ones I didn't sell and I kept for myself, actually. So it fits on here like a double pen holder. And so I just got cheap notebooks that I could sell with them because I felt like it would display it properly, and also people would probably just want the whole package. In the end, I didn't sell many, sadly. I have this one left over. So I think my next slow stitching project is going to be a journal wrap type thing for this sort of size. I don't want to go too small and then find that, you know, I want to put a bigger notebook in it or whatever. I think this is a fairly standard size for a notebook, if there is such a thing. So I'm just going to measure this and see. Cool Cookie Creatures did a lovely journal cover recently. Absolutely gorgeous. You should see the colours on it. So let's see. I would probably want it with the wrap. I would probably want it at least 15 inches that way. So I'm going to add a couple of inches because I know that if you pack a lot of slow stitching onto a piece of fabric, it can shrink. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably make it 17 inches by, yeah, I'm doing imperial again, aren't I? Sorry to the 90% of the world who uses metric. Let's be bilingual here. 17 inches is 43 centimeters, but obviously this is a customized thing, so you just use your own measurements, right? And then for the height of it, I will probably want it to be taller than my notebook, and then add a couple of inches for shrinkage. So say I wanted it 9.5, I could add 2 inches and make it 11.5, which is about 29 centimeters. So what did I just say? I should have written it down, shouldn't I? That's silly of me. Let's get a pad here. Hold on a minute. I think it was 17 inches, wasn't it? Okay, 17 by 11.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this batting. I did not pay $179.99 for the roll of batting, but it was a 9 yards or 8.2 meter roll to 28 centimeters or 90 inches wide. I bought it a while back from Fabricland, and I haven't worked there for a couple of years, so you know it was a while ago. But there's nothing better than having a big roll of batting handy like this, so that you can just cut off what you need when you need it. It's not 100% cotton. It does have a scrim, which means there's a tiny bit of synthetic in there. So it probably wouldn't be good for those bowl cozies, which is a shame because I want to make some more of those bowl cozies. Even though I didn't enjoy making them, we are actually using them, and we need more of the big ones. Anyhow, I'm digressing. So I'm just going to grab this roll and go over to my cutting table and cut the right size. This is where it's going to get messy because I have a massive pile of scraps to my left now. I just tipped my entire scrap bag out. And what I want to do is find fabrics that have got a fairly defined pattern to them, because that gives me something to follow when I am doing the slow stitching. So I think I'm just going to play without talking for a while. This will probably get sped up as well, because it's going to take me a while to fill this entire area. Probably need some pins. Now this isn't fusible or anything, and I haven't. Actually, what I could do is I could 505 spray it to start with. I don't know if other people do that, but I'm going to spray this with temporary basting spray, and that will help it all stay in place as I'm doing this. There's been a scrap explosion around here. It's crazy. I am so happy I found this. I didn't know I still had some left. It's a variegated thread I've literally had for years. I can't remember how many years. And it's going to be perfect for basting this. I could just try and rely on the 505 spray, but I'm pretty sure that once I start stitching on this, things are going to shift. And I don't want to use pins because that will just catch the embroidery floss and I will just be going crazy with that. So I'm going to just do some basting, not as much as I did on the last piece, for sure. But I don't want these things to move while I am embroidering them. So I'm going to just put in enough that hopefully it'll all hold. I think I'll just do small stitches on the bottom but larger stitches underneath. That way they won't be so obvious. And also I could always take them out from the back at the end, couldn't I? I only just thought of that. I was like, well, how am I going to be able to see all these stitches to take them out at the end if I want to? But I can see them on the back. I think embroidering this is going to be so much easier than the last one I did, because the last one had tool and interfacing, because I wasn't planning ahead, because I didn't know I was going to do what I did with it. Oh yes, wait, Nicola, remember, small stitches on the back. No, small stitches on the top. Oh, but I want to catch the edge of this down, so it's going to have to be a bigger stitch. I hope I've overlapped my fabrics enough. I don't want them to show the batting. I have a suspicion that this needle might get a little gummy because of the basting spray, but I'm not precious about my needles. My collection of hand sewing needles has been building up over the years, and I don't really have any special ones except maybe for the special Sashiko ones I have. I have a couple of Sashiko ones, and I'm hoping that I haven't accidentally mixed them in with all my other ones. I've been keeping them separate for a long time, but I can't remember if I remembered to do that last time I used one. Haha! I'm going to pause you while I do that. Finished the basting. I did as little as possible. I didn't want to overdo it. So they're just, mostly straight lines across, trying to catch all of the pieces at least once. I'm going to finish the vlog here. I'm going to stuff the scraps back into their voluminous scrap bag. And my next little task will be to go through all of that beautiful floss that my friend gave me and pick out the colours to start the embroidery on. I'm not going to wait for the AliExpress thread to arrive. It could be a long time. I don't know what shipping from China is like these days, but it did used to be super slow. Yeah. When I tip the scraps out of this crocheted basket I made, it always looks 10 times of a bigger pile than I'm expecting. 10 times of a bigger pile. Did that make sense? It's huge. It's a huge, huge pile. And you wouldn't think it would fit into this bag, but I squish it down because I don't care if they get creased. And as you can see, can see, I can probably make 100 more projects just out of my scrap bag. Crazy, hey? And as you know, making scrap projects just seems to make more scraps. And then there's the even smaller scraps from today, because I was snipping things up a bit. There we go. So that's been a fun few hours. I have no idea what the time is. I'm sure it's well past lunchtime. And I really need to go to the bathroom, but I just wanted to keep on going. So yeah, this is what this looks like. It's had a chance to partially dry while I've been doing the other things. It's a little crazy, isn't it? I'm not sure about it. I had fun making it, but it's not something I think I'll be showing off on Instagram or anything. I don't know. I'll wait till it dries and then maybe I can get a decent picture of it. We'll see. And then this here, I know I'll enjoy embroidering this. I used a whole bunch of bright fabrics out of the scrap bag that have designs on them. There's owls in there and flowers and butterflies and lots of different colors. So what I'll be able to do with that is just add tons and tons of slow stitching to that. And I've put all the DMC threads. I took out cheap, crappy thread that I had from the dollar store and Fabricland and all that. I put all of the DMCs into this bag, basket, my denim basket. And I will figure out which of the colors I want to use. Probably all of them. So we're going to leave that on top of there for later, because I really need to go and eat. The scrap bag, as I said, is absolutely still packed full, like I didn't take anything out of there today. And yeah, I'm not sure about the head wrap. I wouldn't say it was a success particularly, but I suppose I could try wearing it around the house and see if it's something I could get comfortable with. I don't know. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I had fun. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you again next time with something else that's fun. Bye for now.